Okay, so this is my first video. Hopefully you like it. But anyway, so what I really wanted to talk about is the new Hotend that I just got for my printer. By just got, I mean I've had it for almost a month. Uh, for me, I feel like a month is basically as much time as I would need to gain enough experience with it so that I can actually give a decent review on it. So, this is the packaging that it came with, and basically, it's a really nice magnetic box which you open up, and you would usually see the hotness inside of it. But since I'm already using it, I didn't bother to put it back there. As you can see, this is a really nice logo, a really nice detailed packaging with all the parameters and everything. Uh, but as you all know, packaging is nothing compared to the end product. I'll just take off the hotend and I'll show you right in a second. And this is how it looks like installed. Uh, I do have a pretty messy bed, but don't mind that. I also 3D printed this endoscope holder, which is working out really nicely for me. This is actually my second one. This is my first one. I actually do these as a kind of test print because they print really fast and they show really great results. Here you can see a better look on the mounting on the CR Touch. And yeah, and this is all it takes to actually power it. This one cable and the CR Touch cable, you can actually route it to back here. But the only thing I don't like about this extruder kit is that it doesn't come with a wire for this for the CR Touch, because the CR Touch has a special connector on the motherboard, but it doesn't actually come with the connector for this backplate, because the connector on the motherboard is different to the backplate connector. So if you want to actually use this CR Touch and connect it to the backplate and use this paper clip thing to power it, you would need to buy some kind of adapter. I haven't actually looked into that because it doesn't really bother me, because this cable is doesn't really do too much to my aesthetic. Looking from the side, my printer is pretty badly beat up. You can actually see I have the display removed because I get better like cooling for the Raspberry Pi from like this. But yeah, that's mostly it. So I got it off, and basically this is the hot end. I'll get a few closer shots later on. As you can see, I have my CR Touch installed right beside it, which is actually a pretty nice mount, and I have had no issues with the auto homing or bed mesh leveling. What you can see is I've had to DIY it a little bit because I did run into a little accident, which was because of me on my part. No offense to this Hotend or Creality, clearly my fault. Didn't really watch my print, and I had a really big blob of plastic, so I had to remove it. And by removing it, I also removed the thermometer that was on there. I didn't remove the all of the filament, but I mostly use this Hotend to 3D print ABS. I still haven't come to really do any big prints with PLA, but those are the two main things that I 3D print with. Uh, I did start a new 3D printing project that I am finishing off, but right off the bat, you could probably see that the quality is pretty damn decent. These are two parts of a six-part 3D printing electric guitar, which I'll also make a video about later on when I actually finish it. But basically, there's another part, and I have another one right here. So, um, what I really like about this hot end is the fact that you you can put it on the 3D printer, and it takes a really little to no effort to actually set it up. For me, I'm running Clipper. Most people would probably know what Clipper is, but basically it's a custom firmware that uses a Raspberry Pi. And with the Raspberry Pi, I have a web interface, so I don't actually need to go to my printer. That's why also, if I do any close shots of the printer, you'll see that I don't have the display installed. So uh, the quality right here is really good in my opinion for ABS, because before this I usually had very poor quality with it, but with the Creality Sprite Pro Hotend I really had no issues. I just put it on there, uh, did a few test prints, calibrated my flow, my PID, input shaper, and E-steps. That's literally all. Uh, because of the fact that it comes with the new Ender 3 S1 Pro, and this is basically the same as the Creality Sprite Extruder. The only difference between the Sprite and the Pro is the fact that the Pro is all metal, and it can heat up to 300 degrees Celsius. Don't know in Fahrenheit. I live in Europe. Sorry. Also, the other small difference is the fact that this part here is all metal. The only plastic parts on this hot end are this fan shroud, which I believe is plastic. I'm gonna test the magnet real quick. Yeah, it's plastic. Basically, this part where it mounts to the CR Touch. Everything else is completely metal. Here above, you can see the part where you secure it to the clip. It's like a cable clip. It has all your connections in the back. I'll take off this sock too, so you can see how it looks without it. You can see it's pretty messed up because of my use, but it works for me. And as I said before, that's clearly on my part, on not enough of surveillance on it. But yeah, mostly it's a really great extruder, and for my Ender 3 Max, it was a really great upgrade. I had a Volcano hot end on there before, and I had a few issues with that. The most issues that I had were because it was a clone, it wasn't an original, and I had it paired with a Triangle Labs BMG. Um, Compared to the BMG, even this extruder kit, it's really good. If anyone was wondering, this is the biggest 3D print that I was able to do with this. Uh, this is a headband for the Oculus Quest 2. It's the Boneworks one. It printed out pretty nicely. You can see a little layer shift here, but that's also on me because I did have a power outage, and I tried to save it with some G code magic because I'm using Clipper. I don't know if Clipper supports it or not, but I don't have any after electricity lost backup feature, so I had to use G code to do that, and I did get a layer shift that way, but still it printed out pretty nicely. And this is by far my biggest printer on this 3D printer. I've been 3D printing for a year, and this is this took me like 26 hours. It's zero point 0.3 layer height, 0.3 millimeter on a zero point 0.4 millimeter nozzle, and it printed out, in my opinion, really nicely. I still would like to acetone layer smooth it, but I will come to that someday when I do get to finish this off. But yeah, but it's really good and it works really well. I've had it go at really high speeds because I like to save some time, and the fastest I've had it go is my printer's limit. It's like 140, 150 millimeters a second. Not consistently, but mostly for infill, solid layers or stuff like that. But yeah, and it's even the cooling is pretty good, because considering that you just buy it and you just put it on there, and for the price I got it for 90 euros. I believe for the price that you are getting, you get a lot, and it's a really good bang for your buck. And especially if you're using a Creality, e- I believe even you can use it without a Creality printer. You can probably set it up on in any Cubic or any other printer, but I wouldn't think anyone would want to do that. Um, but yeah, it's a really good compatibility even with my 2 year, 3 year old printer model. It still does a pretty significantly good job with working together, and I had really no issues with it.
I'm just now editing and I saw that I haven't still mentioned the fact that I've removed my park cooling fan. Little accident that I had, but just keep in mind your Hotend will probably look a little bit different than mine because I have removed the park cooling fan.
All I can say is I really recommend this. Creality, if you want to sponsor me, my DMs are open. Uh, but yeah, if you have any questions on it, please leave a comment. And I will really like to see you again on my other videos. I also have an Instagram somewhere down below in the description where you can follow my other 3D prints that I'm doing. And yeah,